We will now connect you to your call. The host has joined the conference. Conference recording started.
Good morning. All right, let's call the meeting to order. We'll open our file folders. Do our review.
Thank you.
and just watch that ball go down the fairway and hook left. I'll tell you right now. Slice that one, for sure. It's, you know, a little golfing metaphor there, that's it. Oh, yeah.
Are we gonna go over this at all today?
Yeah.
I just want to understand it, that's all.
Yeah. One.
Something there for you, Mr. Hart? I think it was, you trying to get his attention?
Why?
I don't know, you were looking at him, I thought you brought it up or something.
Now, I was trying to figure out why he went to the last page and then went back to the middle. But that was just me trying to figure out what it is he didn't like or why he
Scrutinizes my every move. You haven't realized that yet? I've been aware of that. I've been aware of that for years.
Well, I gotta keep track of all three of you, because you'll ask me questions.
What it is, I went through everything, and I think back to the issue at hand, that,
I'm trying to do so many things at once.
well, it's a pickup thing.
Doesn't mean you were looking at the last page.
No, I went through all pages, we made it to the last page, came back to the issue that caught my eye earlier to further consideration. There you go. Thank you, sir. You're
That's why
handing,
everything else goes.
you're handing out the minutes, right, so you can take $1 or pay for this out.
I brought everything up and put it up.
Mike, I did not pay the school because I still don't have that sheet from them, telling me what their pay is.
Oh, is that for the July?
Right. They normally would send it for the whole year, July to June,
Right.
telling me what each month is. They'd have to send me one.
Okay, and is that what you're holding off on, is the July payment though?
Yeah, well, yeah, because we talked about that yesterday, but I don't know if you decided to make it or not make it yet.
Yeah, we haven't, we're probably gonna review our financial situation before we make a determination, I'm thinking. That was my thought process yesterday at the work session.
Or you want to put it next week?
Yeah, we'll see what you need to schedule a payment, which we don't currently have, and then, we'll probably do a review Monday or something as to what the bottom line is.
I'm going to call them today and say, oh, you want these.
Oh, yeah,
And you got to send me the payment sheet.
absolutely. Interesting. Oh, that's a mine. Oh, wait, chill. We have, this one of the members that was taken off the stipend list on here.
I didn't take any off the stipend list.
Right, 'cause that guy wasn't getting paid.
Oh, he, I think it was White.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't show up,
It was hard,
so they didn't get stipend for those weeks.
Right.
And that's why they reduced from the,
Oh, and it's a reduction, I thought it was. Right.
if you look at that amount,
And then flip the page.
and you look at the amounts other people got,
Okay, I see what you're saying.
there's one of the people right there.
And this is obviously, Chief Burbank has supplied that information to you.
That's correct.
Okay, just wanted to avoid any miscommunications, so when I saw the name,
It's based upon his data that he sent.
good enough for me, I didn't know if there was something to be caught there.
Now, that's where he wants to take the money from to add it to the person in
Sure.
the during a period of time.
Yeah, and that sounds reasonable to me. Interesting thing, okay. So you caught the ceiling,
No, yeah, and she actually put a
I read-
text where she
okay,
just sent one here too.
she sent the revised one of the 11,000, which I saw.
Well, actually, she did take 500 off it.
The other, right.
Yeah, that's a great pickup, yeah.
You know, it dawned on me somewhat, like, you know, like I say, something goes off in my head when I see numbers, and then I saw the number, and it triggered something, but it just passed right over it, and then later on, it just came back to me, and it's like, that number was wrong, I just, so, started looking at it. I don't know why. I guess if I have a talent at all, it's probably that numbers mean something to me for some reason. But I can't draw a straight line, paint a picture. I've got a lot of other things I am so not good at. Most things I'm probably not good at.
I know someone who's real good at fishing. Alright.
I'm just gonna say that this is one of those validation moments of why some of the things I thought of would just solidified just on something like that. You know, certain purchases you make, why do you make them kind of thing. I don't know.
looks like it's a vehicle lighting.
I thought it was a personal light.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I know what that is.
What is it?
Next.
Oh, vest.
Oh, that's a purchase way back, okay.
Oh.
That was something else. Well, to me, it was, really?
So Mike, this is crack sealant 275, not 274.
Yeah, it's $2.75 a pound,
Okay, all right.
times 2,000.
I thought you said
pounds.
yesterday it was 274 though.
Maybe I misspoke.
Okay, all right, cool.
It was,
No, good.
yeah, the numbers, you do the numbers, you see what well, she sent, correspondence corroborating there was an error.
I think the last page of the bill.
So, Chris, these from yesterday, yeah,
What is it?
the minutes from yesterday, yeah,
I was able to do the minutes from yesterday, yes.
Quick.
I think, maybe,
Non-public and work session.
yep.
This is something.
Not yet.
Wow, 4 inches deep hail in Stanford.
It was hail in the home, but it wasn't.
Yeah, Tom says there's 4 inches of hail on the road.
Get the snow plows out.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Brian, on this students list here, we put forward, what, something like, we asked for proof of residency for 23 students.
Yeah.
It looks like they came back and said one is not here.
That's what they.
What is eligible to take off the list?
Now,
And
they
the others-
actually, their principal gave us two of the names that were not here. So I have no idea where they are validating their information.
Yeah, I mean, I personally know one of these individuals on this list, and that they moved out several months ago. This child is not a resident of our town, and that's not the one that they removed. I think we're gonna need some follow-up proof from the school regarding how this has been determined, and some verification. I think I'd like to request some verification on the process. This is, at a glance, doesn't look to be correct.
I know there were at least four that were definitely confirmed as gone. So two of them, the parents are still living here, but the children have been sent to live with someone in the casinos.
Okay.
There was the one that she found, and I right off the top can't remember the last one. They were definitely not here. I believe the house was sold when they moved. So I found that yesterday in the email. I don't know if it came late last week when I wasn't here, or if it came yesterday. Probably tells it.
So it says April 7th, so, well, that's the date they put. Doesn't mean that was the receive date that actually says 13th, that's a new guy.
Which was yesterday.
Yeah.
So I haven't had any chance to call anybody, but I wanted you to see it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need some follow-up verification, because this doesn't seem accurate, so I'd like to know the process that they engaged to do this. Because I'm not buying it at this point. At least there's one name that's not correct, and if we're spending $14,000 or $15,000 per child, just that one name alone is worth pursuing. And if we think there's others, which, quite frankly, if we miss that one, I think that there's a good chance there's others. Not that you missed it, that they missed it, sorry. Anyway, something else to follow up on.
If you want me to take care of that, I'll take care of it.
Well, yeah, I'd like to get some dialogue started.
I think somehow or other, though, we need to go a step above the person that sent us that.
I would think so. We need to. This is going to, if we find a half a dozen or 5 names on here and they're not giving it to us, what we're supposed to get, that's 5 times 14,000. That's $70,000. I'm willing to pursue this in another venue, should that have to be done to fix whatever's going on here. That's just me, not the rest of the guys, but I feel strongly that.
I think probably I'll send it to the super, my question and a copy of that to the superintendent.
Whomever you think is the most appropriate person to discuss with this.
And, you know, with the time that's gone by, it's time to start at the top, work your way back.
Yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be done in an expeditious manner, which doesn't seem like it's in place.
Blame it on COVID.
Check it out. And so, computer.
Oh, yeah. if he said something yesterday, I haven't looked at it.
I found an email from him, after I stopped reading email
Yeah.
last week, where he wanted to list in all the phone numbers in these two buildings.
Yep.
You happen to read the, decision?
Did you get a chance to do that?
Yeah, he didn't copy me on that one, I didn't see that.
Yeah, conflict from it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, I saw that. I was looking for it, actually.
The road agent, all those, so that we can
Yeah, it was nice.
call down.
Yeah.
Well, that was the
But I think
position that we,
Make sure.
I articulated on.
Clearly which numbers,
I got the thing, but
just make sure you understand which numbers connect actually.
you can expect, yeah.
Because those should not be written down.
That's right, but those are gonna be common. He just wants the numbers so that he can use the numbers, all the numbers, the facts of the time, which make the facts.
Yep. In the total numbers, has he also got transfer station, fire department,
He was just asking for this building.
this building here? Yeah, this is the hard, they gotta configure that.
But in case he writes you, I just wanted you to
Okay.
have that information. I'm not ignoring him, I was off.
Yes,
Well, yesterday I ignored him, but that's it.
Appreciate it.
Oh, it is.
Sorry about that.
That's our problem. Just as an aside, as we're going through these folders here, I wanted to point out last night I went over to Jack Williams' house, resident of the town of Effingham, and picked up the Boston Post cane, the shadow boxes or display cases, however you'd like to word it. They've got plaques in them, they're walnut, he did
they're phenomenal.
yeah, beautiful, I think he did a multi-step, surface on them, process to treat them and stain them, and, yeah, so there they are, and there's brass plaques depicting them, and there's cutouts in the back that are you can take the whole assembly out of the case and affix things and then put the assembly back in. But, there they are, and, I'd love to get those somehow out to the visible to the public in some fashion. Maybe even on the website, the pictures, or, I don't know, some thoughts on that, that's all.
Yeah, Tom and I were talking, we're gonna type up a small frame underneath it explaining what Boston Post cane is.
Yeah.
And when we get it mounted on the wall, we'll do some pictures, and we'll get some stuff up on the historic town hall website and library website, town website.
In the interim, I didn't know if you'd wanna like put them on a table, clear something off, get a little bit of a backdrop, and,
Yep.
you know, let's just shoot something out so people can see it. Right now, nobody can get in the building, and it's unfortunate. So.
And it's beautiful. You can show everybody.
Jack does a great job, real nice guy, and, but quite honestly, the price was so, really reasonable for the work and the workmanship. Yeah, Brian?
Just as a signature for people to sign that, the basic.
Yeah.
Add that to the minutes, so like, you announce what you signed,
Oh, okay.
so that just came in as a group.
Okay, these are, okay. Mine are B, okay.
We all want to sign that?
Yes.
Okay.
Signature folder. Yeah, a total of $41. Around the world. Sure. All right, yes, we're pretty much there then, got through everything, I think. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the manifest in the amount of $54,976.21. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Art seconds, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Al and I, thank you. Signature folder. Let's see, we have an abatement we just mentioned for, just $41, tax collector, town clerk tax collector, that was approved. We have, our inventory forms were in the folder, file folder, we send out, it has a penalty to it if it is not signed and filled out and returned. And it is how we track things in the town of Effingham, as we do not have, codes enforcement people. This is a mechanism that's provided by the state. I know there's some controversy on that, but it is a necessary item. We have a cemetery lot, sold at Woodland Cemetery. And now I'm gonna read the long list of minutes to be approved. July 7th, regular meeting minutes. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Hal and I. July 7th, work session minutes. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Hal and I. July 13th, work session and non-public minutes.
You skipped one.
Did I?
Non-public.
Number 3.
July 7th, non-public, meeting minutes. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Hal and I. July 13th, work session in non-public meeting minutes. I'll make a motion to approve.
Or second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Al and I. July 13th, the second non-public meeting of the day. I'll make a motion to approve.
Fuller, second.
All in favor?
Fuller, aye.
Aye.
Al and I, thank you. I am kind of getting dizzy in all this. I'm sorry, I'm missing my cues. July 13th, non-public, second meeting, non-public meeting minutes of the day. The third, July 13th, third non-public meeting minutes of the day. I make a motion to approve.
Fuller, second.
All in favor?
Fuller, aye.
Aye.
Al and I. Let me just say, we've got to stop meeting like this. All right. See if we can do a better job going forward. We have, action item, this is an issue of ownership on map 408, lot 37. This is part of Glenn English's ongoing, process of resolution with, unknown owner properties or various properties the town has a receipt of at this point that we're trying to clear up. And, there was a property owner who felt this lot was owned by them. We clearly have a deed of ownership at the town level, so a letter has gone out informing that individual of our findings. Or I
It
should say,
hasn't gone out yet, I just wanted you guys to see first.
What's going out? Okay.
And I haven't sent it yet, I wanted you guys to see it and
Yep.
make sure it was kosher.
I thought it was great.
Yep. Documentation is thorough.
When I say our findings, I really mean Gwen's findings. She did a very
I
deep
prefer to
dive.
blame you.
Okay. Your finding, our resolution to claim the property is
It
ours.
rolls uphill.
Okay. The laws of physics do not work in this one.
Sorry.
We have a, notice of decision by the, zoning board of adjustment on one of our smaller lots. It's been a while since we've seen one of those. And that was a positive outcome for the property owner. We have, a bond in front of us that we'll be looking at for, paving bond. Some information is required. We had an email back and forth conversation here apparently with Mr. Ed Comeau, Government Oversight. This is regarding the letters that was sent out to area towns to which they could amend and make their own. It was, they didn't have to sign off at absolutely our language. But those went out, I guess those are being received. And,
And the letters are about what?
these are about, the school, trying to get some money back from the school, considering there may have been several areas where there's been a reduction in spending, or should have been, probably. In any way, Ed requested those letters that we sent not only to the area towns, we sent to the school board and the superintendent of the schools, with our concerns, given that most of our people are teaching their kids at home. One would hope there's a savings there. In regards to those letters, when the office staff does uncover where those got filed, I know Mr. Comeau said that don't bother sending them, but he did send us a request. And I would still like to honor that request just because we got something and we acted on it, and that'll never haunt us if we send them too much information.
Yep.
Letter from Governor Wentworth, residency, the school district. We touched on that a little bit earlier. I personally think that there's some discrepancies there that need to be followed up on. I know at least one of those students has moved out of town. I think it was back in about March. So.
And the principal had notified us locally that there were 2 students that were on that list that were not part of the school system. So you got 1, we got 2 from the school. They came up with one on their list. We got at least 4, and they only show 1. So
Yeah, and
there's some follow-up needed.
out of 23, I'd like to know how they determine that those 23 are in fact there, and whatever evidence that they have that, shows that these people are in our town, I think.
And those 23, we sent letters to each one of them. Some of those letters came back as undeliverable. I don't have that number right handy, but some of them came back. Some of them people responded to and gave us the information so that we were still residents, and some never responded at all.
Okay. I guess I think we'll have to take a look at our internal information as you just outlined, came in, and see what determinations we can make, that there's absolutes, individuals that are not here, and have send that. And then if there are people we know are here, at least we could confirm that, you know, these people, like, do a breakdown, I guess.
Should we send them backup information for the, I don't know, what, 8 or 9 we had on our list? Here's our proof that these aren't here.
Absolutely. I mean,
That'll help them. It's like, hey, we got the proof.
yeah, no, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, wouldn't you? Would that?
We've got it in the file, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. If we've got a letter from somebody that says, I don't live here anymore, it's a little hard to keep us on the
We
list.
don't have any of those.
Oh, okay.
We have, I don't know, 2 or 3 that came back as undeliverable address on no forwarding address. I can't remember.
I'm not familiar with that project.
Okay,
Would it be astronomical, like if this doesn't get any traction here with the school and all, with attendees here and that, what about our own investigation? With the money that we could possibly save on this, and we might offset a little, you know, with our own investigators.
Well,
On our own.
I think we could do a follow-up if that's what you're leading to, sure. Once we have everything, you know, comprised, and we can say definitely here's a number of students that we know are not here, we can certainly do a follow-up on those addresses, I would think, to some kind of a follow-up. I guess we'd have to see what that looks like, but I'd be in favor of
Keep
finding.
plugging away at them.
Yeah, I mean, if we can show that there's some deficiency in their process, then
Right.
that's actionable in my opinion. I'd follow up any way we can. Christine?
What was the name of that project? Well,
That is the, Governor Wentworth, school residency, the student residency.
Verification.
Yeah.
Oh, verification.
Like, did you skip A on purpose?
The planning board, did a voluntary merger of a lot, which is really just one of those things that's pretty non-public. It's not there's no hearing, it's a given that you can do that, so I guess it wasn't real noteworthy to me. But yes, we had a lot merger. Let's see, then we're down to, the sealed letter to the board, which is in effect our town treasurer, who's probably been the treasurer for more than 2 decades now, I believe. Yeah, I think so. Will not be running for treasurer this year, so we probably should, start a nationwide search to find a replacement for that position. I think actually you have to be a town resident, but you get the idea. Then we have an approval for a sewage disposal system on Bailey Road, and that involves the lot merger, actually. So, I think, when we go to the town administrator's, comments next, I think the one item I see there is really probably not something we need to get into at the moment, I think, because I'm going to probably defer, town administrator, Selectmen Fuller, on the usage of, you know, that whole issue. We have some background, so it'll probably save some time if we just connect you 2 gentlemen together. I know I've gone over this with, Selectman Fuller in the past. So with that, I guess it's time to let the town administrator get through the paperwork on in front of you. You have other things there, sir?
I do not.
Do not.
It was a short week because of his collecting trout in the stream up in Pittsburgh.
You gotta go fishing more often.
The one that got away was huge.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
I saw the one he caught, the really big one. It really looked plastic, though. I don't know.
It's a little minnow there by his feet. I wasn't sure what that was all about.
It was the fish they hanging on the wall
Yeah.
there with that top.
And the other one with the tag on it that said the price in Boston Fish Market. I don't know. Okay, then I guess we'll go right over.
Fun, boys. You caught.
Nope, you're right.
This
I think his jealousy is more of a there.
This isn't so bad, Brian, come on. You should have been here when you weren't here, that's when we really went after you.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I'll turn it over to Selectman Hart for any updates you may have, sir.
No, I'm just following the Boston Post cane and going to meetings.
All right, and you are, I believe, filling in tomorrow?
Filling at the transfer station.
For, Mark, yep, okay. And that leads me to, we had some dialogue about putting a, help wanted sign basically at the transfer station. I guess we should probably, figure out what we're gonna do there and follow up. I can't remember who was supposed to do that, it might have been me, I don't remember. But we are gonna be looking for somebody who has a certain skill set, you know, communicates well, written, orally, can handle the money, does not need direction, and basically who can take over and run the operation, because all of our people down there need to have that ability to.
Yeah, no back issues, because there is some lifting occasionally involved.
Right, so we need somebody that, gets good health, we'll have to pass background checks, drug tests, all. It's not just for anybody, so we're looking for the right candidate. All right, so then I'll turn this over to Mr. Fuller, Selectman Fuller.
All right, the, reinstallation of the windows in the library, was 7 of the 8 are in. Looks really good. They've got to take one of them back to the shop and do some custom work on it. Because we've had the air conditioner setting in the window, pulling against that window for eons, it's actually bowed the frame of the window itself. So that trying to get seals to sit tight, they're having an issue, so they've got to create a custom seal to keep the weather out from that. So they'll be doing that, bringing that back over. They did find 4 window weights at their shop that they had in their inventory. So we got all the windows, have reinstalled window weights, ropes, and literally with one finger you can move the windows up and down. They really slide nice.
Those windows are huge.
They are. And for the weight of them, being able to just lift them with one finger is it's pretty cool.
Huh.
And they're all sealed from a standpoint of weather and infiltration of air and things like that. So
Hopefully we'll see, heating cost reduction.
once we get the other 5 done. We got 8 of them. We got another 5 to go on the first floor.
Good job.
Transfer station, I meant to say this last week, but Mark told me we had one of our best weeks in the last couple weeks collecting fees for demo. They hit, in that 3-day period, over $900. So people are using the system the way it was designed. We are collecting minimal fees for what's being deposited. So that's coming in.
Just, can I hold you there, because I just want to, touch on one thing while you're on transfer station, sorry. There was over $14,000, I believe, in our bill for waste management going out. So a lot of that is actually, that was, a lot of household waste and stuff, so not to focus on the demo. But there was a compactor repair charge in that billing. So I just wanted to make sure that Brian was aware that that goes under the maintenance line in there, and it was $1,376, I do believe. And yes, the offset in money is needed, so.
Yep.
Oh, the bill was not 14,000 because there was a check that passed it.
Oh, there was a check that passed.
5,000.
Passed in the night.
Okay.
The bill and the check.
So that was two billing cycles in one on there?
And you only got paid for what was owed to them, not the 14,000.
Okay. So in the last 2 billing cycles, it was nearly $15,000. I stand corrected. Thank you.
I don't want anybody to have heart failure over the 14,000.
Well, you just saved me.
And do we have any update on hazardous waste day?
You know, I reached out yesterday to get input from Dave Jeffers in the afternoon from LRPC, and the school has not yet gotten back to him. I haven't heard of anything at this point today, so I will once again reach out this afternoon, and time's running out. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, we only got a couple weeks to kind of advertise that.
yeah.
All right. and the chair of the CIP committee asked me, has the town finished completing the surveys that she sent out 6-8 weeks ago?
Christine's is there, yeah,
Yeah.
I have not finished mine. I will
Okay.
get there, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I don't know if Gwen's finished hers yet or not.
What was it, I'm sorry?
CIP questionnaire.
Oh, I don't even know where it's put it, where it is. Capital improvement?
Yep, yep. You need another one?
I think so.
All right, I'll see if I can, I've got the email somewhere with the doc in it, I'll forward it over to you.
I probably have it, is that how you sent it to us?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back and look, I can grab it.
Okay, cool. All right, and, just to reiterate, for the public hearing next week at 5 p.m. on the 21st, we'll be updating the no-through trucking ordinance. We'll be confirming the cemetery, new lot purchase price of $350, the new false alarm ordinance, and a fire prevention and inspection ordinance from the fire department. Those will be the 4 elements as part of that public hearing. And that's all I have.
Right, I think we'll probably go do a little work session at the end of this to discuss, the answering of some of the question we got from the, paving project. Rather than sit through it here, public, just going on through our stuff. Junkyards, I was thinking that if we could, anybody's interested, do a collective drive-through with the town, if that works. I was thinking Friday afternoon, perhaps, noontime or something, to be determined, to drive through and, see what we want Rebecca to go after, if we've got any additionals on our list. We can also list the, weight limit signs, which may be missing at the entrances to some of our roadways, stop signs, which may be missing, and any other road signage, so we can kind of try and make a few lists of what we need to get for, since we'll do a once through on all our roads. And I think what I'd like to do as part of that process is end up on, Elm Street at the bridge for, say, shoot for like 3 o'clock or something, and then we could just, the 3 of us go out and just view what's taking
What's been going on?
Yeah, nothing, no big meeting of the minds, but since we're out on the road, just to do a whole thing.
Hey, Mike, speaking of the bridge, have you got any kind of update on what they're discovering as they peel the coverings off this?
I haven't reached out, I've left them alone for a little bit. I was out there the first couple of days, and things looked pretty good to me initially, and that was the feedback I was getting from the 2 guys that were peeling up the pavement. I didn't talk to Mike Hanson, the owner, and I haven't touched base with Chris Fournier, to see where HEB is, but I know they were sending somebody out to review that, so I think probably, maybe I'll reach out to Chris and see if they'd had an opportunity to put eyes on the bridge, and if we have any kind of, feedback on what this looks like. If my initial layman's assessment is accurate, we might be looking at saving some pretty good money here if the condition is what I think it is.
But Chris will help us understand that.
Yeah,
HEB.
yeah. He certainly will.
And we're still looking at a 2 weeks, is that some?
It's a minimum of 2 weeks, and, we have a day like today, a rain day, you really can't say what that's gonna be. And then when they get into the steel work underneath, doing some form work on the concrete underneath, this stuff is like digging in the ground. What's underneath? You just don't know. So, okay, so moving on to the next.
What time are we?
Oh, yeah, do you want to do noon, or, I was kind of leaving that loose for you guys to chime in.
Can we do one? I've actually got to make a trip first thing in the morning, and I should be back, but one we can, I know definitely by 1, 12 might be a little tight.
No, 1 is fine. Do we want to say the bridge at 4 then? Like, do we want to have 2-hour, 3-hour window?
2, 4.
Okay, we'll do 1 on the road trip, and, we'll be at the bridge for 4 p.m. And, great.
What do you want to meet here?
Good question. I'm open.
Doesn't matter to me. I'll be what you say.
Wherever.
I don't care. Here, library, whatever.
I was gonna say library center.
Always good.
Okay.
Fine, we'll start at the library.
Good.
Um,
And I'll get the keys on. I'll show you what they've done on the window.
sure, sounds good. That works. Let's see. So we got the junkyards in the two, nice transfer station. Another thing we probably need to take some action on, and, it would be for our next work session, if we can fit it in. I know we still have personnel policy to finish up, but, plowing contract, it's pretty much getting the time of year when we wanna see that getting put out, so that we can get some, buzz and interest on that bid, and then we will leave ourselves time to do an equipment review, due diligence on that. So, the plowing contract, when, Chris, if you find the last one that was signed, maybe you could forward that to the 3 board members, and we could at least have that as a reference point to see if we want to make any changes to the contract, all that good stuff. Another thing we probably...
Date on that work session?
Not at the moment. I figure end of the meeting, we'll figure out where we are in our schedules. Because we do have a public hearing next week.
Yeah.
Some thoughts, we'll get back to that, for a date.
We have a public hearing today.
We do, and that's another question, is do we stay with that because of the weather forecast seemed like we're gonna have rain all day.
There's 70% chance it's not a fall.
Yeah, I'm thinking I think it might be best to move it to tomorrow on the rain day, because that does look to be a pretty solid weather day for us. And since it's outside, the ground's already wet, it's probably just prudent to move it. That's my thought. Anybody else?
Yeah, and based on the forecast, I would say.
Okay. All right, so I will reach out to, Mr. Spofford and let him know that we have that issue. Hopefully, should be good with the rain date.
So it's gonna be held tomorrow at 5.
Tomorrow at 5, yeah, right here at, the lovely Effingham Town Office building.
And hopefully we can get it done in 45 minutes or less.
I think it should be fairly quick. There's not a lot of moving parts, as I like to say to this one.
I'm facilitating a call at 6, so, for the town hall project, so.
And if there's any setup, it looks like it's you and me, 'cause Tom's gonna be hanging around at the transfer station at 4:30.
All right.
I might come back there pretty ripe, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put you up front.
You'll think social distancing.
You'll be the speaker for this one.
Yeah.
Well, Chuck has somewhere to go. Put Tom up front. Let's see. I want to also, with our following contract reviews, we will need to spend some time with our town clerk tax collector as the burden of the election process shifts dramatically from her to us. I think we need to get schooled.
And why is it shifting?
Yeah. I was gonna ask that.
Because until I told you to read the book, for the last decade, you've been doing somebody else's job, and we thank you for that, by the way.
Very welcome.
But,
Phew, no one knew.
now it's time for the Board of Selectmen to step up to the plate and do our part. So, if you'll help us transition,
I would be more than happy to come.
wonderful.
This year only.
And she, hey, don't you have something to do? You're part son.
Sorry.
Okay, so again, I think our work session, if we could coordinate with Deanna, what is a good day, time for you, possibly next week?
Susan as well, or?
If she's
We're all
available,
on the same page.
okay, so we should get Susan involved. Would you wanna facilitate that communication? That way, the two of you could have the same time spot, and we're probably a little more flexible than either of you. Great.
And I know they had originally scheduled Thursday morning, Thursday mornings at 9 as a regular slot. So Susan might have that on her calendar, so.
She actually has, another Zoom Thursday morning.
Oh, okay.
That will be for the secretary.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I think we would probably prefer to meet in person if she's willing to do that here in the building.
Yeah.
I think it'll be easier. You have all your information here.
Right, so you only said next week, no day.
No, you've been totally open to what works for the two of you. Wherever your two schedules intersect, we'll try to meet that. I think that works best. Would it, any input, Chuck, Tom?
No, that's good.
Okay, all right. So, let's see, I believe I should reach out to Mr. Nason who does our, landscaping work, to get an update on the transfer station landfill. I didn't see that in the billing as to getting that, brush encroachment in the back.
I did not either.
So, okay, so, I'll do that as well. Now,
And if we can kind of coach him that we need to get that done before HEB does another annual visit for their recording.
yeah. The hazardous household waste day, I'm gonna back up onto that one, Chuck, because apparently you lined up a bunch of volunteers, which you covered yesterday.
I got 6 out of 7 done, 7 I'm gonna work on the next day.
Okay, I think you said Mr. Racine, Mr. Regal, Ms. Fuller, the 3 selectmen, and,
Looking for a gentleman, another gentleman I have in mind right now.
okay, and then we have Mr. Regal, but due to his surgery, we think we're gonna try and discourage his participation, coming in after that surgery. Okay, so, I also do have a, very professionally drawn, a layout from, Dave Jeffers.
Why did you use a red crayon?
So we were
being used elsewhere.
We were actually on site, and so he was using his legal pad to just draw out as per the discussion. So it's not that bad actually. So we'll have something to work with when we get to the hazardous waste day items, which hopefully we can solidify today. It'd be really nice. I will find that out.
I will pick up the 2 signs today, or the 2 banners, and I'll start working on those in anticipation we're gonna get it okay.
I like that, positive thinking. I think on the zoning officer's, report, we have a few things that, when we communicate with her on our interest in going forward on some of on the junkyard, we've got a few other things in here. It seems like something's sitting out there for quite some time with, regarding a variance in some shoreline, Water Quality Protection Act violation. So that this has not moved, 12/3/19 this started. We're in July. I think it's time to take some action here, so if she hasn't gotten any good response. But we have a few other items here with 2 dwellings on 1 lot that may not be allowable. That seems to be on the list. And there's another setback issues with some, looks like Arab sheds. So that's fairly recent. I guess that isn't a big deal, but we have 5 what's up letters, which generally means she's found something that shouldn't be happening or would need permitting. So just things to go over with her to get a little more clarification on what's going on. Because like I said, when we talked with her last time, I really don't want these things going 6 months, and just really, it's time to tighten up the timeline, is what I was thinking. And I think next week we're probably going to need to communicate our findings from Friday drive-through on the town with junkyards and put that into play. And just put some letters out there, and anybody who's been previously notified probably just start the action. So that'll be on our work schedule for the next meeting when we, work session, sorry. Try to think here.
Excuse me, but before you move on,
Yep.
did you see her recent email that she sent maybe this morning?
I saw that you sent something, I didn't really,
Do you want me to print out all those building permits?
not at the moment, why don't we catch up on that later before I ask you to start printing things, I'm not sure what's there, or somebody else's.
Copy of the building permits, 6 things listed, I think.
Yeah,
Five or
or-
6.
Are they in here? Because I printed out several yesterday.
Okay, I didn't compare them.
In process,
Well,
so.
We have, obviously you have them, or we have our digital files that was mailed to us, so we can spend figuring that out individually. Back to, we got some input, Chuck, again on, the individual putting out the bid on, well, it's not a bid, a proposal on the heating system. Did you
I sent you guys a question. So he responded to the issue we might have raised with the type of brand that was there. And I thought it was a rather complete discussion on the brand and why he recommended that one because of a wall unit rather than a floor unit. But he said if we wanted a quote on the floor unit, he could do that too, so we'd have an idea of what that would be.
I guess I'm just hung up on dependability. You know, it's one of the things that's bothering me about the unit we have now is the ongoing maintenance costs that are, you know, adding up, and that pretty much was my focus of asking the question. And I didn't know.
When I read his response to that,
Yeah.
he explained why they use that particular vendor and some of the repair costs. He addressed that issue of high repair costs versus normal repair costs. But a lot of it's got to do because of the high-end technology they're making all these furnaces on now.
So that's what I got.
No longer just, you know, go in and plug it in. It's memory boards and other things that help control efficiency.
Well, that's the high efficiency was the thing, and that was, you know, and I didn't know if anybody else had any insight on that.
Talking to my buddy there who's in the business, you know, Matt, and I ran some of that over to him, and he says they're all coming out like that now. They're all, he goes, I had to go to computer school. He goes, I installed these, and I've been doing them for 25 years, but I had to go to computer school last year to learn some of this new stuff. And this guy, he's a pretty intelligent guy, too. And he said they're all coming out, you can't avoid it with the American-made form, whatever.
All right. Then I guess because of the dollar value that seems to be coming in on these bids, we already have a proposal. So putting it out to bid is kind of difficult now because you already have established stuff. I think at our next work session, we should try to fit in a quick discussion on where we want to go with it.
Oh, and look at the detail, because he gave us a very detailed,
Right.
what he was recommending, why, pretty much almost by room.
Yeah, we can dissect it all at a work session,
Okay.
so we all know what's going on, right?
So, yeah, so, I mean, we'll get through a work session on what we can get through. You know, we just have too many things all the time, but.
But the question still stands, do you want me to get the other quote for the standing unit, not the wall unit?
I would like to see it, just,
Okay.
All right.
because usually they're a lot less than the wall unit. Why, I don't know, but,
Well,
I mean, we've got the space, and they're gonna be removing it, so it's like,
uh,
okay, I'll write him today and ask him for an update.
yeah, 'cause, I mean, my personal thought process here is I'd like to do something. We're later in the year than I had hoped. We haven't had the greatest responses, getting people in. Some people haven't responded. Maybe it's COVID. One guy said he lost workers and there's been issues. So, I'd like to get it done, and if we get a good price here that there's a big difference, maybe that's just the way to go.
Okay.
For the next meeting, anyway. Let's see. We'll follow up on that item. So we have something in my folder for Hazardous Waste Day. I guess it's a bunch of flyers.
Oh, I just gave those to you in case you just wanted to change the location or date time.
Okay.
I don't know if we could do something, yeah.
I'll put that in our pile for moving into the, today's quickie work session. Hopefully we can get through a few things. The next thing I'm going to tell you about is, the no-through trucking. We had the response from legal inquiry, and we're all gonna revisit that email. I pulled up, a number of things on the internet in New Hampshire towns on no-through trucking, and there are so many of them, I only printed out 4 this morning. And from these, I think I can put together some paperwork to give us a pretty short narrative on ours. Some of these are bigger towns tying them in with other road issues and whatnot. So just focusing on no-through trucking, I think I can get something done in no more than 2 pages. And that'll be what we can run with. Have that for you before our meeting so that you can review it. We can print it out, have handouts.
Okay.
Letting you know, I'm still working on, following up on some of these details. Those are I'm gonna tell you. All right.
Mike, does that end up being an ordinance?
Yes. And that's the one we will be doing at the public hearing next week.
I'll create a cover for that.
Okay. Let's see. One more item on the agenda, and I was waiting for Gwen and timing, and she just stepped out of the room. So that's about land auctions. Lighten us on how close we're getting. It's that. Gwen, I guess I've been playing a little hit and miss as you're being called away out of the room here. But we have or it's on the agenda, Schofield, sale of town-owned properties. Is that still pending a conversation for you?
No, I talked to him yesterday. He said the proposal would remain the same, and this is just a copy from the 2017 contract that when they had the auction then. So.
Okay, he's available for.
Yeah, he's actually kind of excited about it. He realizes there may not be a ton of money to be had, based on the property. He didn't know if, after review of this, maybe you want to have a meeting with him or anything. He wasn't sure, so I'm just kind of putting it out there. I am going to reach out to him tomorrow, or maybe later today, I guess. Let's see, because basically what he needs from me is a basic list of properties, a copy of the assessment card and the tax map. But he also didn't know if you guys would want to meet with him at all. Prior to.
Well, if your schedule allows, I brought in my information that I compiled earlier, and we could go through to solidify that list.
Good idea.
And then having that nailed down, we can share that with the board, make sure that everybody in the room's comfortable with the direction we're looking at.
I got a little anxiety over that. I did not want to be that decision-making.
No, I'll work with you, and we'll let everybody chime in, that the whole board make those decisions.
Yeah.
I do recall from the last time I looked at Steve's contract or the steps taken in the sales, there was one paragraph, and I know I have that at home, that was conflicting.
You mentioned that.
Right, it caused a problem on one sale, because there was something that basically said everything's free and clear and all like this, and then there's another one that contradicted that language, and it was problematic. So I'll read through this, I'll match it to what I have in my file, and if that's been changed or removed, otherwise we'll probably have Steve to, work with us on that.
Absolutely.
And then at that point in time when we have the contract squared away, any concerns, and our list, and the board is good, I think it would be really good if we did meet with Steve if he's available.
Sure. Okay.
I wouldn't, because there's probably not a lot of money involved, I probably wouldn't have asked him to do that, but if he's suggesting that he would like to, that would be great.
Yeah, he just said, you may want to meet with him, and with the formal agreement and everything.
Sounds good to me.
Probably a good idea.
Chucky's good, Tom's? Yep. All right. Just a little more to do. Wonderful. I'll add that in. So, see, we did cover the treasurer's,
One thing, mentioned about where to have the auction, whether it be outside or maybe the gymnasium at the school. I don't know. I just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm hoping that there'll be a few things, communications maybe with the land use board and the school to see. For we've got a couple of good public hearings coming up land use wise. And I think there may be some concern with the public being represented properly, because Zoom does not work well, in my opinion, for this interaction. People may not get to say their piece, and that could really make a problem for everyone. So I'm hoping that Teresa Swanik may initiate a conversation about using the gymnasium at the school and what that would entail. Other than that, I think we would probably be forced onto this property outside or another location that the town has, a parking lot at the library or the fire department, something like that, and do it outside, and hopefully the weather is with us.
And just as clarification,
Yep.
Zoom's got two components. One's the video, one is a teleconference. So if somebody's internet doesn't allow them to do video, they can still participate by teleconference. So it ends up being a valid meeting. So just because you don't have the video doesn't make it an invalid meeting.
I'll tell you, I was part of one that used both of those things, and if I was in the member of the public, I would absolutely contest the hearing. I gotta tell you, hands down, no way that flies. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, Deanna.
And you also have to think of, the elderly. My mother wants to know how to do the internet.
Or I'll probably call in.
Well, the dialing numbers are straight, like any teleconference call, dial in, put in a pin, and you get the teleconference. Like, I understand.
The big thing for me in the interactions where it's really not a good mechanism to hold a meeting because there's glitches in the video, it hangs up. People on the line can't be recognized to speak because they can't see them, chiming in. There's a little talk over component sometimes.
That's not true, Mike. There's a dashboard with people calling in, you can see it.
It didn't function well. I didn't run the meeting. I was involved a little bit. The more people that are involved, it's not good. And we can say it's great, and it works.
I'm not saying it's the
No, this is just devil's, we can say that. But the members of the public who say, I couldn't get on, I couldn't get through, I wasn't heard, I had issues, I'm in a butter, I was not allowed to speak. If any of that happens, you go back to square one, and now the applicant is delayed, the process, you're spending money for advertising, it really could stymie the process. And you open the door for having it contestable, whether the outcome would, stay with you as saying, this works, and have somebody uphold that, a judge potentially, or to say, yeah, you gotta hold another meeting, and somebody's on the other end trying to get their issue through and do something with their property. So, I'm just saying, personally, if you could put it in the gymnasium, or you had an outdoor venue, worst case, so that people could appear in person, and everybody could see that everybody involved was recognized, and everybody had their say. I just see it as a cleaner process. I know we're restricted in some ways. That's all I'm saying. It could get murky.
Honestly, it's like an outdoor pavilion, canopy roof, post, and just have a place that in situations like this, not to run around like chickens with our heads cut off, and probably our little kids. Or I thought of a tent, I don't know which building, or I don't know, it would cost money.
There's been thought about this building may need to grow because we're busting at the seams, so I'd hate to put a pavilion in the way of a future.
Well, what about a tent then?
The tents are fairly expensive, even the rentals, and they're problematic because of wind and snow and I've been a part of. Gentlemen used to have a tent up on 16, and we'd sell all kinds of stuff for the summer times, right out there by McDonald's. And he's my neighbor, and I would help him erect and take the tent down, put it up every year. And it's, it's not a pup tent going camping. It's a process.
Do you think that when in the event
I think that if we were going to do something on a pavilion, we would have to put it sufficiently to the rear of this lot that we wouldn't hamper things. And at that point, it could be, you know, parking for the PD or something, at least we'd be out of the weather. But it would need a lot of consideration. In the short term, it's not gonna
Right, yeah.
solve our
Yeah.
problems today. But it's a thought.
It's a thought.
It's absolutely discussed.
I just have these random ideas.
Mine keep me awake at night. At least yours come during the day.
Yeah, mine don't keep me awake at night, I don't care that much
Wow.
about it.
There's also something I forgot to mention in the mail folder, is that tonight is a remote meeting, July 14th, 7 p.m. There's a link to go on to the school board's live streaming meeting through the YouTube channel. It says, if you're having access to, trouble accessing the meeting, which I'm not sure what the access actually is, but it has a number, which is 603-387-3865. I'll repeat that. That's New Hampshire, 387-3865. And that's if you're having difficulty accessing the meeting. Perhaps whoever's at the end of that line can tell you how to access the meeting.
And for more information, go to the school website.
Okay, that probably would be a good function.
What time is that?
That's for the Governor Wentworth School Board meeting at 7 p.m. this evening. Kind of stuck that off the side of the folder here and want to get back to that. Let me see if I can get us out of this meeting at this point. Just a quick review. We got volunteers.
I lost my bet, sorry.
Nice.
You'll be bringing that pizza next week.
Just because I think this has a timeline to it, and it's gonna take money out of Chuck's pockets and give it to the office staff, I have motivation. I'm gonna say that I do not have any other pending, discussion points today. So, unless anybody else has anything, we're gonna stick it to Chuck Fuller before 10:30, that's it. Selectman Fuller is going to lose whatever bet he bet against me on.
I already lost.
That's funny.
All right, hearing no, other comments or input, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn. Anyone?
I'll second that motion,
I didn't make it, I'm entertaining one.
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Actually, we're gonna adjourn, I should back that up, or we go into work session.
Yeah.
Why don't we,
I'll withdraw.
I'm sorry about that. Why don't we, take a recess and just enter into a work session and continuation of the meeting and, go from there. I apologize. So,
I second that.
okay. All right, I'll,
Take 5, back in 5.
take 5 minutes back and 5.
Aye.
Hal and I.
All right.
All right. Needed a follow-up. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we're back early. I do not know that.
All right. Let's see, I guess we should probably discuss the certification of liability insurance is provided here for hazardous waste day. I guess that's all in good order as far as I'm concerned. It really doesn't.
And so we're waiting on the school to review Primex's additional information?
Correct.
Okay.
So that'll, again, is on my follow-up, calls today. So there's nothing really that concerning us, I guess. I'll move on. R&D paving. It looks like the job is listed here, through the insurance company showing $142,264. The bond must make up the difference because I recall that being closer to like, 149, if I recall, for that job.
I don't remember.
I know we have bonding in there. Just what are we bonding for? I'm not 100% sure. I mean, this looks like they've got some, a 1 year. There was some feedback here on bonding for the amount we had in there. It was originally $250 because we had no idea where the numbers would come out. So the price point is no longer valid. And then they won't take a bond in excess of 100% of the contract. So I think we had 125%, which you can do, but they're going to offer to this contractor 100% of the price of the contract. So I don't have a problem moving it down to that. Then you get into what does the bond cover? So there's typically a 1 year warranty.
I thought I saw that mentioned in there.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
their language. And the completion time on these jobs, which the completion time is another tricky one because normally this would be 3 days or less, ballpark. Because they come in, they grind, they grade, they pave, they leave. And the paving can start right after they grind it. They can be even following the grader. We may have an interruption in this, and I've got a new scheduled date for Ron Evans and Jerry at R&D for 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon to discuss how we can get base materials on the road and just what that would look like. What would the steps be involved? Because there's different ways apparently to do it. So one of the ways I think Ron was leaning to is come in and grind, maybe grade it, and then Ron was going to come in and put material down on the road and grade it, and then have him come in and pave it. The other option is to go with the flow if it's being done, which I like, but I think Ron also wants to take some rocks and stumps and stuff out in the whole process. So I'm really not sure what this is going to be. So the timeline is kind of be determined. Then the paving portion, to put this base layer down, the last time we had work done, it was probably at least a year before we really saw some issues arise. And then I don't know that we even considered trying to get money back through a bond on that. And anybody that I talked to really didn't, in the industry, really didn't see it happening because the way we approach the project, the rough winter, there's only so much we can guard against. So I'm not sure what this bond is covering. Is it the material?
It should be a performance bond. The warranty is part of performance.
Yeah.
It's a performance bond. We've contracted you to do the job. If you get a third of the way into it and disappear, the difference between what we've already paid and contracted price, the bond company's gonna pick up. We gotta find somebody else to do the contract.
Okay, and there again, I don't think, that's here again, that's why it's on the table. I don't believe we paid anybody until after their job is done. Here's one of my, discussion to me is kind of revolving around, this bond, although paid by the contractor, is paid by us. The town is going to make that difference up. So is there a negotiation here on that? Is it something we should or shouldn't do? Meaning, should we look at seeing whether or not we really enforce the bonding on this or not? What does it provide for actual protection for the town, seeing that we are potentially the person, the entity that's shelling out $6,500 or something? What are we buying?
I think those types of questions need to go back to the company that's providing the bond
Right.
and get it from them about their contract.
And I think that's a good idea. Brian, you seem to want to have a thought?
I have some concern that we're gonna bond R&D paving work. So we're going to have someone else insert work in that particular operation.
Right.
And I suspect the bonding company is going to say they aren't
That's
going to
enough.
cover that because it's not out of their contract that they're bonding.
And that's another good consideration, because with the two different ways, one of it is the R&D is just going to blend all the material brought in. So Ron Evans could bring material in, and R&D said they would be able to provide 2 additional trucks. So if you're just putting the material in and they're doing the work, that seems to flow, as you know, and you're nodding your head. Doing it piecemeal in 2 parts by 2 contractors, I think you're onto something there.
Well, and that's the question you asked the bonding company. It's like, here's what one thought was for option A,
Right.
and if that's the case, will you provide a bond? And I'm kind of agreeing with Brian, I don't think they will.
Oh, right. So you see where I had some concerns about just jumping in at the bond. And so when I meet with R&D and Ron tomorrow, I wanted to have some thoughts. Since this just showed up, it wasn't on my radar, but it really started me thinking we may have some things to consider here. There may be some effects on the bond company. There may be some savings to the town. What would we be, our liability and our risk are we opening ourselves up to? Is it minimal? Could the money we save from this pay for the patching, say, of Pine River culvert? And would that be a better use of the money? Because they're going to do that when they come in. They're going to perform that service for us.
Now, does our contract have any performance clauses in it?
With
the company? Like start dates, stop dates? I know you've mentioned it could be.
We didn't have anything, that's why we actually carried that over from last year to this year. So stop dates weren't really there, but these processes usually, like I said, tend to flow pretty quickly. But
I don't want to rely on tend to flow. I think we need to have start and stop dates. Well, give or take some time, but in it to protect ourselves.
Well, and that gets to, again, having Ron working in the middle of that would affect that, the R&D portion.
I just don't like leaving a contract open with no
Parameters.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
Not saying we would get, but it could come down to it, and then at least we got something to fall back on.
We can get something in writing saying that certain things will be done by a certain date. We can put an addendum in the existing contract, and that can be, pending, of course, the town's involvement in the middle. I mean, if it's due to our...
And you got to take into consideration weather. It's out of his...
Right, I think...
God out of his hands.
Well, the road can't sit there for any length of time once it's established. You can't have that going to pothole city.
And I'm thinking more, you could probably require a start by date, and that at least, because once they get their equipment here, they're not gonna stop until they get it done, because that'll cost them money to have the equipment set.
Or us mobilizing.
Unless they have a rain issue with a day in the middle of it, but the equipment's already here, so they're right back working on it.
Is there any kind of warranty by R&D on their work.
That's a good,
Contract, or are indeed solely dependent upon the bond.
that's a good question, because I've heard from a lot of companies when we did this past cycle, that they tend to carry a 1-year warranty, which is matching the bond, you know, again.
Yeah, when I talked to my neighbor about the pavement they do in Mass,
Yeah.
with his company, it's built right, the 1-year warranty is right part of the contract.
Right. I think there's room for a discussion here, and I think there needs to be a discussion because of some possible things that would interrupt having the bond company be comfortable with what's going on. So, I don't know if anybody wants to be part of this tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Happy to have you, and we can have that posted, that it's,
I already got.
you've got a commitment, right?
Otherwise I would've.
Okay. Whatever is gleaned from this,
What time is it, Mike?
3 p.m.
And where is it?
That we, right now, tentatively, we are going to collectively meet at the end of Ryefield Road and Green Mountain. That we may move from that intersection is probably going to happen, but that's where we're going to
Start. Yeah, I'll be there, so let's post it.
And this is with R&D and,
Ron Evans,
Ron.
Evans Brothers, put Evans Brothers in case Ron can't make it and Ed is there, or more people are.
okay.
All right, great. So there's a lot of different things to be covered in that. I'm glad we had the time. And that's why that one was on the work session last night. All right, I don't think I have anything else that needs to be covered. That's it for me.
Done.
All right.
Uh-oh, what's up?
Sergeant, one more thing.
Sure.
Back,
Ron.
okay.
Relax.
Back in October, Mr. Broussard, who lives over here on Green Mountain Road, he has the property right next to, Chief Burbank, bunch of tires that didn't last.
Oh, yeah.
He's coming back up, to do some work on the property. Just wanna let you guys know that we had agreed back then to allow him to dispose the tires of no charge at the transfer station. He just wanna know if he needed a letter, or can we just let Mark know he's good to go?
I think, Mark should just be informed.
Okay.
Do we have a rough idea of how many tires?
Probably 15 or so.
Okay. And we have a consideration of some sort, maybe as to where those originated from?
We have no idea. They just showed up randomly at one point in time back in the fall before the snow fell. And they were there one day. Nobody knows really where they came from, and we didn't have any leads.
Fingerprints were inconclusive?
Yeah. No, the tread came back to a Goodyear, and they have no idea.
Probably came off a police vehicle, Goodyear, huh?
Couldn't find a catalytic converter over there.
It was. It all comes back to your house, Tom.
Is the DNA testing still pending? I didn't see the results coming.
I believe it comes back from a rubber tree.
African?
No, it's more chemical these days.
Okay. All right. Well,
There's a motion to adjourn.
I'll be here all week.
thank you for that. All right, we have a motion on the table by Mr. Fuller to adjourn. You, sir, are done.
I am done.
Okay, Mr. Hart, second. All in favor, please say
All right.
aye. Al and I.
Have a great week.